cachet. And the festival itself is something that I've watched personally, having lived in D.C. for a long time and seen it grow. And I to what Guy was explaining about moving into the convention center, I know that there were some people at first who were like, how's that going to work? It's, I think, a great venue for people in the middle of D.C. in early September to sort of take part in their favorite books. It's a great spot. And for us, again, to have all those authors in one place works really well. We are excited about it. We air on pbs.org. We are also on bookviewnow.org. It'll be live streamed from noon to 6 p.m. on the 5th, so we're doing 6 full hours of live streaming. But then all the content's available after the fact and on demand at pbs.org and at bookviewnow.org. And we also stream on a number of PBS stations around the country. We work with NPR stations. So this is truly a public media initiative, and we're thrilled to be working with the Library of Congress. They've bent over backwards to make this a great event for us, and we're excited to deliver it to PBS viewers everywhere.
Mm-hmm. And again, what is different this year? I know that that what PBS is doing this year is different than what they've done in the past. Tell me what's different this year.
If you're directing that to me, I mean, for us, we're excited about. I mean, for us, the festival has just reached, we think, as it's really matured, it's grown, it's become an important stop for authors all over the country, and publishers are delivering their best to this festival. We've seen it obviously covered really well by C-SPAN for a long time, and they do what they do really well, especially with their nonfiction focus. But we also, at PBS, obviously, are covering a really broad swath of writers. We're covering YA for younger readers. We're covering fiction, titles that are more in tune for book clubs. We're looking at kids' books and middle grade books. So we feel like, for us, this was the time to jump in. This is a great festival. It's reached, I think, a new level. The level of authors, if you look at the quality, we're talking about David McCullough and Kate DiCamillo, David Marinis, David Baldacci, Marilyn Robinson, Jane Smiley. I mean, these are some of the finest writers in the world. Newbery Honor winners, Caldecott winners, National Book Award winners, and many, many more. I mean, icons all. So we're excited. The other element for us is that Jeffrey Brown, who is a co-host of the PBS NewsHour and the chief cultural correspondent for the PBS NewsHour, he's also, by the way, going to be presenting his own book of poetry at the National Book Festival, will be one of our co-hosts and will handle a lot of the interviews at the event throughout our 6-hour live stream. So it adds, I think, another element for us. We get the cooperation of the NewsHour. A lot of our segments end up on the NewsHour. So we're excited. I mean, this is just a great new festival for us. Not new, obviously, for the National Book folks and Library of Congress, but we're thrilled to be there for our first year.
One thing I'd like to add to what Rich said was that having PBS at the festival really makes it truly national in character in a way that it has never been before. We know that people come from all over the country to the festival, but obviously a lot of people who would like to come cannot. But this will give them a taste of what the festival is all about in a completely new way. So we are thrilled to have PBS involved with it.
Rich, I'd like to ask Guy, if I might, to talk about the new International Pavilion, the new Romance Novels Pavilion, and the app that we'll have for people to use to navigate the book festival this year.
I'd love to talk about those things. We have a new International Pavilion this year, and it features celebrated writers from throughout Latin America. This is something we've never done before, and this will be a very broad spectrum program lasting 4 to 5 hours with about 15 authors from Latin America, some of the greatest writers of Latin America. For example, we have Homero Ariges, who is Mexico's greatest living poet, and he will be talking about his country's literary traditions. And we also have one other international pavilion, and that features First Nations authors of Australia. And we have 6 authors coming from Australia to the festival. We've never had authors from Australia before, and they will be talking about 3 areas of their literary heritage as well. Another new pavilion we have, as Jennifer mentioned, is romance. As you know, romance is one of the most popular genres in all of fiction today, and for the first time ever, we will have 3 romance writers there. at the festival discussing their craft, and that will be moderated by Petra Meyer of NPR, and she will be talking to the authors and leading a question and answer session with them. So we're really excited about that. The library had a romance project back in February of this year. It was a 2-day affair, and we had enormous crowds who attended that. So we know it's a very rabid audience. So we're looking forward to seeing a lot of romance fiction fans at the festival.
Tell them about the app. We're going to have something you can download in advance of the festival, and it'll help you navigate your way around.
That's exactly right. Thanks for asking. We will have an app this year for the first time, and it should be available later this week on the festival website, which is loc.gov/bookfest. And this will make it much more easy for people to plan their day. You can plan a schedule online. You can see all the authors, all the biographies of the authors. You can see what books they'll be signing, when they'll be presenting. It's going to be so much easier for people to navigate the festival than ever before. And we urge everyone to download that onto their smartphone before they come to the festival.
If I may say also, over the history of the festival, the library itself has recorded on video virtually all the author talks, at least going back many, many years. And these are available on the library's website, which once again is loc.gov, or through the Book Festival website, which is loc.gov/bookfest. And so if you're getting ready for the Book Festival and you just want to get in the mood, you can go look up. Your favorite author is likely to have been there because we've had hundreds and hundreds of authors there. Folks should keep in mind that this isn't a festival that's great for the whole family, all generations. We get history writers, we get contemporary life writers, we get novelists and mystery writers. We have had for several years now a special section that's about graphic novels, which are very big with young people. And young adult literature, which is becoming one of the really hot-selling elements within publishing overall. We've been surprised a couple of years, we old fogies, to find that some of our young adult writers have had entourages that were almost like rock stars arriving. It's been great fun. So this year they will take over virtually the entire convention center, but it's all free, remember, and don't worry about crowds because it's a big building and you won't have to worry about fighting your way through crowds. We put up good signage and make sure that everybody can find what they need and get to where they need to be.
Okay. Well, looks like we might be running out of time here. I wonder are there any points that we've missed, any information that any of you would like to get out to the public? Guy, Rich, Jennifer?
I'd just like to talk a little bit about some of the special programs that we have this year, one of which is a program on war writers. It's called The Human Side of War, and that will be headlined by Tom Brokaw, the newsman, who will be talking about his book, The Greatest Generation. Plus, we also have the Pulitzer Prize winner, Rick Atkinson, and many other famous writers about war. And we also will have a Novels of War section, and that will be with Phil Clay, who was the recent winner of the National Book Award for his book, Redeployment. So that's something that a lot of people will be interested in. And as Jennifer mentioned earlier about the Thomas Jefferson Library, we have a program dedicated to that because this happens to be the 200th year of the acquisition of that library by the Library of Congress. So we will have 3 of the most prominent historians and scholars on Thomas Jefferson talking about his legacy, and that will also be in our special programs pavilion. So we really have a lot of special things that people might be interested in that we've never done before.
If there's quickly, I'd just like to say also on October 12th, Columbus Day, we're going to have an open house, as we do every year, in the main reading room at the Library of Congress. This allows the public to come on in, walk around in there, and take pictures. It's a very popular event. We do this twice a year on Columbus Day and on President's Day. So we welcome the public to come in for that.
Yeah, and I'd just like to throw in one more thing, too. Anybody interested, as Guy mentioned, this is an event for us. It's a national event. It's located in D.C., and people in Washington are encouraged, and hopefully we'll be there, and we'll see you there. But if you're outside of Washington and you love books, these are great events, and anybody can watch them at www.bookviewnow.org. Or you can go to pbs.org, where it'll be highlighted during the live stream day, and people will be able to find it there as well. But we hope that people all over the country understand the sort of significance of the Library of Congress's event and can tune in.
And I'd like to also urge our audience to go to www.loc.gov, the website for the Library of Congress. Well, I think we are running out of time. I'd like to thank our three guests. First, Jennifer Gavin and Guy LaMolinara with the Library of Congress, and Mr. Rich Foley, executive producer of Bookview Now on PBS. I want to thank all three of you for being on our program today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
You're all very welcome. It's our pleasure. And now I'd like to thank our audience, our listening audience from around the world, for tuning in to our program today. And this is your host, Rich Gehlhausen, wishing you a very good day.
Hi, I'm Jet Williams. Even though I never knew my father, Hank Williams, his legacy taught me the meaning of lending a helping hand. That's why I support the Orphan Foundation of America. OFA